Number 7 is, are men to blame for the westernization of women? There's a comment here that says, don't get in y'all's feelings. There's 2 videos for this. I think they're tweets. I put the wrong thing up. Give me a second to grab the link again. Sorry about this. But there's 2 videos. I think they're tweets, actually. So they shouldn't be, too long. So I'm sorry. I just gotta copy paste this stuff. So I'm gonna post the first tweet so we can look at that now. So okay, so now we're going to Twitter, and the first tweet has a video. I think, yeah. Let me play it, and then I'll play the second video right after, and then we'll discuss it.
Now, in humans, a lot of this information about what males and females desire in a mate is transmitted culturally. And then this becomes a problem if this information is coming from outside of your culture. Because as we discussed in several other lectures, the culture you build for yourself will advance you. It will be successful. It will be the best one for you. But standards from another culture, they may be really bad for you. Now, if you're in Africa, you're probably all right. If other African cultures are influencing you, that's normal cultural transmission. But when you're getting influence now from continents away, where the people don't look like you, can be very, very different. Now the likelihood of maladaptive culture is higher. And this then links into what we've talked about earlier about the kind of psychology humans have, where we pay attention to prestige and status and respect and success. So this is a statement from the study. So the Zulu women said that the most common reason given that they are following these Western ideals of thinness and beauty is because they think that is how men want them to look now. So this then takes us back to intersexual selection. What the other sex prefers, you will try to have, so you can attract the opposite sex. So this says that the women believe the men are being influenced by Western standards of attractiveness, and they are now trying to meet that standard, which of course Zulu women can't really meet a Western standard of attractiveness. But it's getting into their culture. The European standard is finding its way into Zulu beauty standards, but it's getting into their culture through the men. If the men weren't now acquiring these Western standards of female attractiveness, the women would not respond to it. They're only responding to it because now they think it's something they need to do to attract their own men. So if you wanted to stop this process, it's the men you have to get to. You really don't have to say anything to the women. If you deal with where these men are picking up bad culture from in terms of what they perceive as attractiveness in a woman, then if they keep it African, they're gonna be just fine, because the women are only gonna respond to the preferences males have, the same way males have to respond to the preferences women have if they want to attract women. So obviously this is maladaptive. This is not adaptive cultural learning. This is a perfect example of bad culture finding its way into your culture, this alien culture that is harmful in several ways. A 2004 study showed that acquiring these Western standards of attractiveness for Black people, psychologically, emotionally, really bad, and it's very poor for identity development as well. And you don't really have to think too much about that. Just reverse it. Let's just make Western women working really hard to look like Zulu women. How bad psychologically would that be for them? It would be ridiculous for them to try that.
All right, so I try to let those videos play like twice to make sure everyone, got a handle for what the content was about. So should be topic number 7 is: are men to blame for the westernization of women? And the advice is to not get in y'all's feelings. And I showed the two videos. I saw with Kevin Carre. Do you think men are to blame for the westernization of women?
No, we're adults here, both man and woman. You, it's a choice you make. That's a choice you make. Listen, I'm not going to change myself. If let's say I'm trying to get a woman and she's telling me, "Oh, I got to look like Brad," I'm like, you know what? I guess I got to cut my losses and move on. There's no way I'm going to change myself to look like somebody I don't like. I will never want to be like to suit you, because the moment you do that, she starts to lose respect for you anyway. You know, so this guy's always going to change. So, you know, as I said, people, men and other blame women. That's a personal choice at this point.
Mr. Untouchable, what say you to this?
No, I think it's unfair to say that we are to blame for the westernization of women. I think that women have their own minds and they make up their minds based on a myriad of different things. Out sometimes most I believe sometimes outside of what men think. You know, they believe they watch television and they're influenced by television, they're influenced by the society that they live in as well, and their perceived idea what beauty is supposed to be. I don't think that let me tell you something. I date a lot of women who wear what I perceive to be white woman wigs and all this business, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? And picture me, and I tell them I don't like that, and they would say, "Well, this is my hair, and I can do what I want to do with my friggin' hair." You know what I mean? So who am I to tell a woman that she shouldn't wear her hairstyle in the way that she wants to wear her hairstyle? I mean, I had many arguments and discussions with various different women I've dated in the past. In the past, let me say that loud, and their perception of what beauty is may be very different. You know, I would write like women who would want to wear their hair naturally. They say, Cohen, it's too difficult to manage. That's the excuse they use. you should see you should see somebody standing over me right now. Anyways, yeah. So they would say, they would make up all kind of arguments and things of that nature. As far as us wanting to like date slim women, I only see, and this been my experience. I'm talking from my experience. I don't like women with boyish shapes.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like women with curves.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole idea of black men want to date thin, nice look. That's why white boys want that. I don't want that. You know, I don't want that. And that's never been my thing. I like to see the circles and the bumps and all them kind of things. I don't like them kind of women. So I feel like it's an unfair statement. I and my feelings about it. I take a different view, you know. But women have a right to determine and make up their own minds. I feel like we may have some influence over it, but not the complete influence. I think women can think for themselves and they determine, you know, what they perceive as beauty and what they want to, the hair hats they want to put on top of their head and call it hair. You know, I don't have nothing to do with that. So I don't really agree with this these sentiments this person is making.
In the chat, the learning curve, that's the revolutionary matron. She said, "This is the power of media. Women are being sold a bill of goods by gay men. Gay men set the beauty standards." The matron has rejoined us now. Matron, you want to add to that?
Just that, uh, it's their fault. It's every individual has to make a choice. But if sexual selection is the greatest indicator for future generations to exist, and you're being told that this image is what where sexual selection happens, you will contort yourself. That's why the plastic surgery industry makes billions of dollars a year trying to get people to deface themselves. So I don't think that it's the fault of the men. I just feel like women are easily led and convinced. A lot of times we wind up holding the purse straps and the purse strings, and we're the ones going out and spending the money. And if I'm sitting up at home or I'm at work and all I hear all day is the video vixen is the girl body to have, or the waif is the new style. And then I go to stores and they do things like vanity size, and they play all types of psychological games with women to make them hate themselves. And it happens over and over and over again. And as a man, you should be too busy working to even really be able to pay attention to that. And your presence, most women, doesn't speak the way that it should speak, but your presence there is an affirmation of your relationship there. But no, ultimately, I don't think that it's the fault of, quote unquote, this blanket men in general. It's gay men, because they set these beauty standards because they hate women and they just want money.
I appreciate that insight. This is why I like to have women, black women on the panel, because you guys can give a certain insight that's appreciated by probably all of us here. Arthur's earlier in the chat said, I worry about that. I think about my preference for slim, athletic women, which most of my black women in the South have no intention of adhering to. Gross generalization. Excuse me for that. Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from. Gas them up in the chat said, black women have no one to answer to. So why does anyone care? He goes on to say, just enjoy your turn and hope for the best, expect the worst. Sister Ross says, the parents should have taught them to love their blackness. Understand? Gas them up again says, the learning curve is very correct. Most female models are selected on their closeness and body type to adolescent boys. What a sick. It's true. It's true what y'all are saying, but whoa, what a sick thing. Anthony, what say you to this prompt? Are men to blame for the westernization of women?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Talk about it.
Black men are to blame, man. I'm not speaking of white men or other races of men. Black men are to blame because this is a power dynamic. That's why that's the thing that black men are not understanding. Everything in this world boils down to a power dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Either you're gonna run your society how you want to run it, or somebody else is gonna run it how they want to run it. You know what I'm saying? It's all about a power dynamic. And I can give you an example, like I just told you with my ex-girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? She first she had dreads and she cut her dreads and then she went to her natural hair. But she didn't have a problem with her daughters putting in weaves or wigs or whatever. And I used to have to bite my tongue because I used to be like, yo, these are beautiful girls, man. You know what I'm saying? And if I had to give my little opinion, I would say, yo, y'all don't need to be doing this stuff. Okay, if you got short hair, you got short hair. But I used to have to bite my tongue as far as certain things, man. But I noticed for her standards was high for her Africanness. She went from her dreads to working her short hair. She will never put in a weave or wig, and that's one thing I loved about her. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, if her daughter came home with a wig or put in a weave or whatever, she wouldn't say nothing, I guess, because that the man influence wasn't there. Now, if they was my daughters, they couldn't play that crap. And we got to remember that, you know what I'm saying, in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of black men running around with jerry curls, putting in perms or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? Come on, it's a power dynamic, man. It's a power dynamic, man. Either the African culture, or the African standard of beauty is gonna succeed the white man's the European standard of beauty, or the European standard of beauty is gonna succeed the white man's the African standard of beauty. It's a power dynamic. And that's what black men is not understanding, man. We in a struggle for survival, we in a struggle for power, man. Both two kings can't sit on one throne. Two kings can't sit on one throne, man. You know what I'm saying? So black man is gonna rule this world. African beauty got to rule this world, man. And I'm not telling white girls, you know what I'm saying, to cut off their hair short, or if they got long hair, you know what I'm saying, to do whatever they. No, be satisfied with what you got. That's the meaning of African beauty, man. Be satisfied what God has gave you, man. Just like me as a black man, I'm saying I can't put my hair in cornrows and grow dreads or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm damn near going bald or whatever, man. I'm gonna rock with it, man. I'm gonna rock with it because, you know what I'm saying, I love me, man. So I ain't got no problem. no choice but to love me, man. So if African man is in charge of his society and in charge of running his household, we can always say the women gonna say this and this and that, but a woman can't possibly want to alter her genetics just because she sees somebody else does it, man. Because it's time consuming. You know what I'm saying? And not only is time consuming, it's detrimental to your health. You know what I'm saying? If you got
Um,
short hair, you got short hair. Just rock with it, man. Because you're still beautiful regardless, man. So it's the man's fault for identifying with the European standard of beauty and to bowing down to the European standard of beauty. You know what I'm saying? That goes over back to the power of diamond. Because you got to understand, a conquered people got to go according to the people that conquered them.
yeah.
So until we get out of that, until we reconquer our own mind state, and not only take it to that next level where we conquer the people that conquered us, we're gonna keep on chasing our tail, man.
In the chat, I want to push this question to all of you. In the chat that Gaston up asked earlier, or it wasn't really a question, but I guess a statement. He said Mexican men have no power, yet their women are not having identity issues. Later on, he says Japanese women started injecting silicone as a way to grow their breasts and attract white soldiers. Japanese men did not tell them to do that. Gaston later on says, show me the Chinese women that are having this identity crisis. And finally, he says, white men have power, yet their women still want to talk dark and handsome man. Someone's sound is coming through. That's distracting me. He says white men have power, yet their women still want a tall, dark, and handsome man. Question mark, question mark, question mark. So, Kare, based on what Gassim is saying in the chat, what do you say to what Gassim is saying?
With a Mexican, hey, they're together. I mean, compared to what our ancestors went through, we were intentionally ripped apart, abused. I mean, the Mexicans or whatever, they were kicked, whatever, but they have a history of being. They knew the land. Just in case they knew the land. We were brought over here. We didn't know anything about the land, but they have what's the word? They have a reason to stay together. They don't want to. They have dealt with the enemy all these years. You think they want to go out there by themselves? It's only our women that think like that. Oh, I'm strong and this and that. No, it doesn't work that way. But I'll step aside off the mic.
Bro. Sorry to cut you off, man, because I'm tired of these weak men coming up with these weak philosophies, man. He's talking about, oh, they didn't go through this and they didn't go through that. Whose fault? And excuse me for screaming, whose fault is it for black men and the black family to go through slavery? Whose fault is that? But ourselves, our fault, man. It's the black man's fault. Stop trying to put that blame on somebody else, man. We should have been aware enough. We should have been strategic. We should have been strategic enough, and we should have understood the threat. Stop blaming everybody else, man. We don't care about what the Chinese women do. We don't care what the Japanese women do, man. We only care what our women do, man. Stop blaming everybody else, man. This ain't past the buck, man.
Where was I blaming anyone?
This is not past the buck. This is not past the buck. We 2022, family. I done heard some of the best elders speak, man. And they said stop passing the buck, man.
I agree.
Get on your grind. Get on your grind, man. Get on your grind, man. Either you're gonna stand up, in this world, or you not, man.
Yep.
We don't need no people to come on talking about, oh, this one did this because this one did that. And oh, the Japanese men had to go the Japanese woman had to go get silicone breasts, and the Mexican women. We don't give a flip about all of that, man. All we care is about how African women and our women is doing their thing, man. And that boils down to the point that we haven't stepped up to the plate, man. How the flip do you get enslaved 3 fucking times over, man?
Yeah, man.
How the flip do you get enslaved 3 times over, man? We've been going through this shit with the white man, the Arab, for the last 2,500 years, man. Read Chancellor Williams, man. Step up to the plate, black man. Step up to the plate. I'm calling out all of y'all soldiers, man. I'm calling out all of y'all soldiers, man. What we gonna do? We gonna rock this? We gonna rock this or not, man? Or we gonna keep making excuses and pointing the finger at women, man? I don't give a flip what women do, man. They wanna be hoes, they wanna be this and they wanna be that. I don't care, man. Worry about your kids, worry about your daughters, worry about your sons, man. Raise your family right, man. Stop blaming everybody else, man. It's our fault of the European beauty of standard, man. It ain't nobody else's fault but our fault, man. Oh, the women did this and they gonna to television. Who invented the television, man? Who got your kids sitting down watching television, man? You got your kids watching television, man. Well, my father say turn off the TV, man. He said turn off the TV, man. I can't watch no TV. So who you got to blame for your kids watching Love and Hip Hop, man? Who you got to blame for your kids watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, man? Who you got to blame, man? Be in your kids' lives, man. Raise your daughters, man.
Hey Anthony, I don't mean to cut your wisdom. Hey, gas them up. Stop throwing peanuts from the peanut gallery. Come on, this man is directly addressing you. You need to come on and explain yourself.
Yo, tell gas him up, come on, man, because he want to motherfucking advocate for New York, and this dude ain't never ride for New York, man. This dude ain't never rode for New York, man. I ain't got no problem with my Nigerian immigrants, man. But I told you I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, man. I did my time in the streets, man. I know this shit in and out, man. And you know how you know when dude did his time in the streets? You know how you know what dude did his time in America, man? You know what I'm saying? We got 3 institutions, man, and they feed you the same shit, man. In jail, they feed you the box milk, applesauce, and the damn bologna sandwich, man. In hospital, they give you the box milk, the applesauce, and maybe a chicken sandwich, man. And you know what I'm saying? And in school, they give you the same damn shit, man. I've been on the grind, man. Come on, man. Listen, man. Listen. I come from that garbage cloth, man. I'm not no rah dude, man. I'm only 5'7", man. I'm only 140 something pounds, man. I'm not no big gorilla dude, man. You know what I'm saying? But I love my peoples, man, and I think we can do better, man. I think if black men step up to the plate, we can conquer this, man. It ain't too late, man.
I agree with you there.
We had some of the best soldiers that died for us, man.
Yeah,
we gonna let Garvey die in vain?
Yeah, we should be better organized. We shouldn't want to have our next generation starting from scratch. You guys who've been listening to the show a long time now, you know that's what I preach. This thing, every generation has to start from scratch again in black society. We got to kill that. We got to start building and passing on prosperity, man. And we got to organize and all that. But I want to continue with the questions down the line. Mr. Untouchable, what say you to what Gas is saying in the chat?
I want Gas to come on and explain himself, because Gas just need to stop throwing from the peanut gallery. I think that the both of the brothers them are very sincere with what they expressing. I have no bones with not what Gas saying or what the brother is saying. I take a middle position. But for me, for me, as far as what a woman chooses to wear as a hairstyle and all that business, I really don't give a damn about that. To be honest with you, that's from my opinion. As far as westernization of a woman, any woman who deal with me, there's some ground rules we gotta go through before we could engage in any kind of relationship. I don't take the position where I run around my house. I run my house, so it's never really been an issue for me. For the other brothers who may have issues with the women they deal with, that's another matter. I can't speak for what goes on in their house, but for me and my household, it is what it is, mine. And they call me barbarian, all the business. I don't business with that. yeah, what it's called, they say, oh, that you old school and outdated and all. I believe what I believe. So either you gonna get with that program, or you can decide to not be with my program. So it is what it is. But I would like to see Gas come up and have a dialogue with Anthony, because they take two polar different positions. So they need to come on and have a conversation with one another.
Yo,
Hey,
Mr. Untouchable, you from Barbados, right? Or you from
yeah,
Bahamas?
he's from the Bahamas. Yeah.
All
From the
right, all right.
Bahamas, bro. Yeah.
Shout out to you, man. Shout out to
Yeah,
you, man.
man. Yeah,
Shout out
man.
to you.
Everything good, man. Yes.
That
Mhm.
blessings, peace and blessings, brethren. Peace and blessings, brethren.
Right. Um, Matron, do you want to a comment on anything that Gas is saying in the chat?
I think that Gas should come up too, but all women, because there was an internet lore that a woman a man divorced an Asian woman, a Chinese woman, because their children came out ugly, and
Oh
she had
yeah.
had some type of facial surgery, so her aesthetic was different, and the child looked like what she looked like.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that all women go through this. I think that uh, unfortunately we have turned over something that used to be a place where eunuchs, who were usually serving as estheticians by choice, and gay men, and we've let them just run rampant. And with the profiteering that happens, it's just not a good combination for any woman. But Black women have the extra burden of all of these extra psychological games, because our frame is different from the frames of other women. We don't usually come in super small size. I mean, yes, women come in all sizes, all colors of women come in all sizes. But when you look and think about a Black woman or an African woman and our curves, she could wear a size 0, and because she got hips or a couple of other dips, and or whatever, she got to go up to a size 3. She's never going to be their idea of beauty. So we need to establish and adhere to our own beauty standard and stop letting them tell us what to do.
I appreciate that a lot, Matron.
Can I say something real quick? Can I say something
Hold on
real
one
quick?
second. Hold on one second. Mr. Untouchable is asked, so all myself, is there a lot of feminism in the Bahamas? When I was growing up, feminism wasn't even a word. Mr. Untouchable is on the ground
No,
now.
you
Mr.
you you
Untouchable
see
says,
what you're doing right now is you seeing a lot of it come back with a lot of university educated women, because they go some. Now, I don't want to blame this on the United States, but it's just a culture was happening in the United States universities now, where feminism and all these
yeah,
LGBT things is popping up.
it's
So
majors. Yeah.
yeah, so when I hear on the radio people yelling patriarchy, I say where I come from. But the older women don't get with it. The older women have them old school views and values, and they believe, a lot of the old women, that houses should be run by the men. They naturally believe that. They don't believe in this whole idea of feminism and, oh, we need to get in control. Nah, it's not a. I mean, the women who think like that, they either by themselves, or um, they're in positions where the men don't. A typical Bohemian man wouldn't want to bother with them. They wouldn't bother them. They'll end up to be. They'll age out, and they'll either have no relationships as far as a man in their life, because most Bohemian men ain't gonna be business with that. After a while, they could be like, the hell with this. So every man, I feel, he wants a degree of peace in his home. And if he feels, and when he comes home, it's gonna be a competition, when he come through the door. Most men don't want that shit. But most Bahamian men don't want. Let me speak for Bahamian men. Most Bahamian men don't want to deal with that. We have the privilege of having a relationship with you, but we have an obligation in what we do with that relationship, which is to take care, provide, etc., etc., etc. However, the woman have the privilege of being with a Bahamian man, who have the obligation of fulfilling her needs and all these other things, but she has an obligation as well. She have an obligation as well. So if you want to create terrorism in your own personal space, that's on you. You'll just be by yourself with it. Because like I say, they are the small minority of people within our community. But at the end of the day, they either gonna be by themselves, or they'll see that, well, this is not gonna, this feminism issue is not gonna get any play in the Bahamas, so they leave. They go to the United States or some other so-called first world country to extol the virtues of feminism, and we run the show and all that bullshit.
Yeah, so it's the same as when I was growing up there. It's still the same. The women who Mr. Untouchable is talking about, I know some of them very well in my youth, man. You know, one of them is a dame now. I'll just say that. But yeah, they tend to be by themselves. No one really fucking with them. Ain't no one checking for them like that. And so yeah, and that's a very small minority of people who would have claimed something like feminism. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they are careerists.
Yeah,
They
they're
get the
careerists, right?
PhDs. They get the PhDs. They never have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you hear them, they always have something demeaning to say about men. But really and
Mm-hmm.
truly, I find a lot of them to be very lonely, because at the end of the day, I mean, all your community is gonna have families, and you're gonna be that auntie. You know what I mean? Who, well, people gonna always question. It's like, what's wrong with her? You know, it's what's going on with her. You know, it's, we still have that idea of family, and family is something that is a sincere thing with us. And I don't know. I do believe a woman should have a mind. I do believe a woman should think for herself. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you come around to try to be a natural competitor to
Mm-hmm.
your, what you consider to be your mate, it's gonna be an issue, because a man at the end of the day want to be a man. You know, he gonna want to be a man. You know, so, and it's like two people can't wear underpants in the house. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a caveman thought, but that's what I believe. You know, I don't know.
Anthony, you can go ahead now, and then Bakari.
Nah. I just wanted to say, man. And this is going according to natural selection. I mean, we got to be honest with ourselves, man. Some people are born with it, and some people have to learn. Now, I could honestly say I was born with it, man, because I'm dark skinned, man. I mean, I'm not blue black, which I wish I was, but I'm dark as hell, man. I've always been criticized as far as, yo, you know what I'm saying, you black as hell, you this and that, or you African, this and that. But I've always embraced my blackness, as far as like, yo, if a light skinned dude come at me, I'm like, yo, and he called me black as hell, I'm like, yo, you piss colored, you this and you that. So I've always gotten busy from day one, man. So a lot of us is born with that, like, pro blackness. It's like, for instance, man, when I was a kid, I used to have a chessboard, and I used to always grab the black piece, man. I wouldn't grab the white piece, man. Or I'm the type of dude growing up. If I see a black woman on TV and a white woman on TV, I'll be like, yo, damn, that sister is fine, man. And I'll be like, oh yeah, the white girl look good, but she just don't look as good as the sister, man. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of brothers just don't like rate themselves on that level. Cause I've never been intimidated by a white man. You know what I'm saying? Now I might not be the best thing since sliced bread, but you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As far as pound for pound, I get busy. Pound for pound, I get busy. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could be the same height as me, and you could be the white boy be the same height as me or whatever. I'm gonna look at myself like, yo, damn, you can't touch me, family. I know what I'm built with. I know what I'm working with, man. You know what I'm saying? I've never been the type of person that would say, oh, black is inferior. I've always thought black was superior. Maybe I'm a black supremacist, man. So if I'm a black supremacist, I'm a black supremacist. But I believe black is superior to white, man. That's just me, man. And that's just how I've been from day one, man. I've just been about my business from day one, man. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree with you. I agree with you, and I think
That's just me.
That's a message we need to be pushing to our youth. I agree with that too. Black is exceptional. We're supposed to be pushing that to the youth. I want to get Brother Bakari's commentary on this prompt. Are men to blame for the westernization of women?
I would say,
Brother Bakari, you're in the matrix right now.
you can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
You're
Can you
clearer
hear me
now.
now?
Go ahead now. Yeah, go ahead now. Unmute your mic, Brother Bakari. All right, Bakari seems to be having some issues here. Does anyone else want to have a last word on this prompt? We'll get Bakari. We'll get Bakari for the next.
You gotta tell Brother Bakari separate from that microwave. You got that 5G, man. Separate from that microwave.
Hey, yo, how about now? Am I better now?
Yeah, you're better now. Go ahead.
I say yes, man is to blame. The same man that's to blame for the westernization of the black man is the white man. Yes, the man to blame. Man is absolutely to blame. The white man is the damn.
You're saying men are to blame, but it's the white man who's to blame.
It's the white man. Yeah, it's the white man. The same man that got black men running around acting the way they act.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same man that have black women doing what they do. The same man that have black men scared to stand up for women but want to fight their women. It's the same man. The same man that got the black woman that want to fight their man. It's the same man that done caused all this problem. It ain't gonna be solved. I don't use the term racism, I don't use the term white supremacy because there's something behind holding that up. It's the white man, and it ain't gonna stop until the black man let his nuts hang. Pardon my French on your name. Let his stuff hang and be a man and go stop it. And if black men don't ever do nothing, it's gonna get progressively worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But we are so stuck on how everything is the woman blame, everything is the woman fault because we don't want to look in the mirror as men and do what men do. I'm not saying our women are perfect. Don't get that twisted at all, because I just told you about the woman that went over there to Korea and married that. So we gonna have the problems with our women. But I'm not at war with our women. I'm at war. We're supposed to be at war with the people that caused this problem. But yet we turn the ammo on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But to answer the question on the topic, yes, the man is to blame, is the white man.
I want to thank all of you for the spirited conversation there. Someone's giving me feedback. For the sake of time, I want to slide on to the next prompt because I'm trying to be done by 1 a.m. So for the sake of time, the next prompt tonight